she's working on that, we need 2 people to raise their hands that they are willing to get uncomfortable and teach and empower class in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Who do we have that feels like they have something to share, something to give back to this community? We need volunteers. I see we've had Ross teach before. We've had Sue LaFavi teach before. We've had Samantha teach before. We have got lots of faces on here of people that have already taught. And so we would love for a volunteer to come on and say that they feel like they have got something to share. Oh my gosh, Amanda, thank you so much for volunteering.
I am doing it June 24th.
Perfect.
That's great. Well, thank you, Miranda.
Thank you for teaching us, Miranda.
She doesn't know yet, but we do need one more person, and I'm going to smoke you guys out at the end of this. We need one more person to volunteer for a training. So I want you guys to get uncomfortable and get out of your comfort zones and commit to a training. So please message us or shoot us a message directly if you'd love to do that. But we are going to jump on in. Go ahead, Anna.
All right, my favorite topic. So I made these, so I got to put my own personal bias into it. But there's pretty big merger acquisition news this week that was a little out of the norm. Anybody know who Berkshire Hathaway is acquiring? Anybody?
Taylor Morrison.
Taylor Morrison. The fastest growing home builder in America. So that's one of the first ones we've seen between brokerage and home builders. I thought it was interesting if you study Warren's investing strategy. It's low, slow, not flashy, consistent. So I think there's a great message in the consumer or the confidence of where housing's going with all of the inventory that's out there. But most of you have been following lots of big things. It's been the year of the mergers and acquisitions. It started March of last year and has not stopped. But the hot take is the wave of brokerage mergers and acquisitions is great for big brokerages and will be a slow death sentence for the independent agent. True or false? What do you think?
Guys, we have no opinions around this.
Gotta have opinions. This is where your industry is going.
I think it's true. I feel like it depends. I feel like you can't say yes or no either way because I think it depends on how that solo agent or independent agent is running their business. Because I also feel like there's still going to be a place for the agents who are really being intentional about their sphere of influence and about their people who they know, like, and trust. Yes, Zillow and whoever else are all going to be reaching out to these people and trying to keep them in their world. But I feel like there's an element in, at least in our market, I feel like that as long as you are working your sphere and you're showing up consistently and intentionally for them, they're still going to call you.
I can't see who is speaking.
Is that Andrew?
Okay.
It's the wise little bird.
I'm going to ask you to go one more level deep. So okay. Why? And I think I need you to define a slow death sentence for independent agents. So look at that sentence again, right? A slow death for independent agents. What do you define as an independent agent?
I would say somebody who either boutique brokerage or maybe even a solo agent with EXP or another cloud brokerage, right? Like someone who's not associated with a big team or with a big brand name, which I guess EXP would be a big brand name, but somebody who's not associated with some bigger organization.
Okay, and I'm going to go one more question deep. So why do you believe that the wave of the brokerage mergers and acquisitions, right? Everyone's gobbling each other up and they're putting a big umbrella on it, right? Why do you believe that will be a slow death for an independent agent?
What I'm saying is I don't if the agent's working.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't believe it would be a slow death for the independent agent if that agent is being intentional, showing up for their people, like being present in their in front of their sphere of influence.
Okay, good point. Anybody have any thoughts around that?
The great thing about these questions is they're written that they're both right and wrong. And that's why we wrote them that way, is so that pretty much every answer will be, it depends. There is no right or wrong answer here. It was just designed to create some conversation.
Yeah. Does anybody have any thoughts around that?
Gwendy in the chat says it's going to come down to alignment and market share. I think market share is something really big to be watching because we've never had the 80-20 rule is starting to create the gap between the haves and the have-nots in the real estate space is growing rapidly. That is a trend that cannot be denied. So I think you're on
I
point
actually have
there.
something to say on this.
Well, yeah.
Go.
So for brokers and like the whole reason like a lot of mergers and acquisitions happen in the first place is to capture efficiencies. So I think that there's even though there's these mergers and acquisitions are happening, I think it's gonna I don't think there's gonna be a slow death sentence for the independent agent for certain markets. It just depends who their target consumer is. So if you look at like investors and people who are, I think, reaching towards a lower price point home. I think there's probably going to be a slow death in that, but the value of the independent agent, I feel like, is the relationship with like there's like Andrew said, their sphere of influence. But I think it's not going to be as um, prevalent of the impact of the mergers and acquisitions to someone who's catered towards like luxury or like a higher price point where people do really need those touch points with the agent and they need that value add service that somebody can provide rather than kind of you feel like you're a number with you could feel like you're a number if they try to like scale things and make things bigger, just kind of like the cog in the wheel kind of thing, where I think people are still going to see that value in the agent for higher price point homes and services.
That's a very good point, Carol. I would say that when I read this, I see a slow death sentence for the independent agent. I actually completely disagree that it will be a slow death for the independent agent. I believe that it will be a slow death for the independent brokerage. The amount of profit that brokerages are seeing is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the cost increases. I think that independent agents are actually very profitable if they are top producers running big businesses. And there's this 80-20 gap Anna was talking about. So like myself, I could go back 6 years before I really went into growing a team. And I can tell you that my profit margins were great. And I had systems and I had things in place where I was an independent agent, right? But I was working under a big brokerage. The small independent brokerages, I think, are going to start seeing a lot of pressure. And unless they have these really great independent agents in their independent brokerages, they aren't going to be able to sustain. And many of these good producing independent agents are leaving and going to the big brokerages because of the support, the systems, the collaboration, and all of the tools they provide. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does anybody have any thoughts around that?
We also mentioned too, we kind of had this conversation yesterday at our team meeting, but also because of AI too, and what AI is bringing to the table as well.
So much technology is being given and afforded from these big brokerages to agents to support their growth. So I don't think this has anything to do with independent agents. I think there are some slam dunk, amazing, profitable independent agents, but the independent brokerage model, I think, is going to be what is affected the most out of this. All right. Does anybody else have any other thoughts around this? We can go to the next one.
I'm just going to read Andrew's comment because I think this is important. It's a trap that you got to be careful of. Brick and mortar, right? The value proposition was, well, the name brand, right? People will come to the name brand. And Andrew said, I'll also add that I think the inverse will be true, regardless of brokerage mergers, larger corporations. If you're not being consistent and showing up, I don't think you'll be the agent that they'll go to because you're part of a larger, more popular name. So we cannot replace the team ridges with that same comfort of, oh, well, we have market share and everyone recognizes our names, because that's the exact same reason why brick and mortar models fail, because the name is not enough, right? There's got to be intentionality behind that. So I think that was a really good point, Andrew. Okay,
Good job,
let's
Andrew.
get
Yeah.
into some more lead stuff. Buying leads from Zillow or Realtor.com in 2020, sorry, Claude must not know it's 2026. 2026 is just paying to compete against yourself. Yes or no?
Come on, guys. We know you have opinions.
Yes.
There you go. Mr. OK's on the call.
Go
Hey,
deeper. Talk about it.
My Downies, buddy.
yes. Yeah, I agree.
Why do
I,
you
I,
agree?
I
What do you
don't
agree?
buy them. I try to create my own
What are you doing?
organically, and I'm doing a good job.
Mhm.
What are you doing to create your own?
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I've been 8 or 10 years with Wilopo, which are they're great.
They
They
are.
do everything for you. They own they actually own and run your website, which at some point that may be what you want, but at another point you'll get to you realize that you want to take that website and do more with it. So
Mhm.
I left about a year and a half ago and I went with Agent Fire, and my strategy there has been now I've got my own website. What am I going to do with it? And my whole goal has been to generate organic leads. I was paying tons of money at Wilopo, and I was getting plenty of leads. I've never had a lead problem. What I've had is a conversion and an agent problem. Didn't have enough agents to deal with the leads. Didn't have enough knowledge to deal with the leads. But that can be dealt with as well. But so what I'm doing now is I am going into that. Everything I do is pushing to my website, and I do that primarily through blogs. I'm generating blogs, good blogs too, I think. And each not every blog, but many of the blogs I go out and generate an automated AI generated type video to support that blog. And some of these, when I look, I'm at that point that somebody just mentioned earlier. You get to a point when you think you're ready to give up, and all of a sudden it starts popping, and that's kind of where I've been. All of a sudden, I'm putting out these videos in scores, and all of a sudden, they go 15, 20 uh, views and a few interactions, but all of a sudden you bust through that wall and you go from 10 or 15 to 100 to 200. And so that's kind of where I am now. I'm still in to feel it out and process everything, but my system is solid, and it's mostly automated. Sometime maybe I would love to share it with you guys, but I'm not really, I don't even know what the composition of this group is. But I think too, I want to jump back on that previous that I didn't really have my thoughts together, but I kind of look at EXP maybe differently than some of you do, but I really think a lot of you may look at it the way I do. I look at EXP, well, I look at myself as an independent agent.
Mhm.
Everything I do is on my own. I've got several things I really love about EXP. One is that one of them is the fact that they take care of all the commissions for us. And as a team leader, that cost me $16,000 a year. You can't even touch that.
Oh gosh, no,
You
no.
can't even touch it. That's all I needed to know
Mhm.
to go with EXP. I didn't look at all the other stuff, but that in itself was a huge selling point to me. And for my teams, the members, the few that I have, for them to only have to pay 8,000. I mean, that's $1.5 million worth of sales, and they're done with that. Then they pay my team fee, and I try to give them more than they can get anywhere else. Um, so my goal is I did pay for Zillow leads. I've never done Realtor.com, although a lot of my friends have done it. But I was paying Zillow leads. They were $175 a lead is what it boiled down to when I backed out of it, and I said no more. I'm not, and plus the conversion was just as poor on that as it is for some, the lead source that I've got right now, the conversion is not good. But that's because I haven't figured out how to deal with it. It's totally unique what I've got.
Mm.
But so I think it's all about the EXP. You're independent, but you do have groups like we've got here that it's really powerful. I've never really I've sat in and listened a time or two, but I've never spoken up. So this is the first for me to
Well,
introduce myself to the group.
we
Yeah, we're glad
appreciate
you're
you
here.
speaking up. Yeah, that's the whole point. You asked what this group is composed of, and I'll be honest, it's composed of whoever wants to get on and communicate and collaborate. And I just want to say thank you for speaking up because it's how we all learn and grow. And so we use Ylopo. I literally made notes about what you were talking about. We'll look at that. And if you ever want to collaborate with us separately, we'd love to talk about what your system and your lead flow and your funnels look like. Anna does a really great class on that as well. And so we'd love to dive a little bit deeper into that. So we appreciate you speaking up. Does anybody else have anything about buying Zillow or Realtor.com leads? I know this is a controversial topic. So what are you guys seeing on buying leads?
I feel like Zillow like almost owns us. I mean, they have their hands on just about everything, and I almost feel like I don't know. I feel like if you're not a part of it, you're going to be losing a lot of people. But then Allison will tell you we have the situation to the last speaker's point where a lot of the leads come in through Zillow that are already in our team's database.
Yep. Over 38% in the last 6 months of every Zillow lead that has come into our database, come into us as a team that we owe 40% on was already in our database and had not been touched or called for over 2 years. And what it shows you is that since COVID, the lead cycle has extended and gotten longer, and the agent's attention span has gotten shorter, and agents want to pick up the phone and take a client and sell them a house, and that doesn't necessarily happen because that lead flow cycle has gotten longer. And so you have to be more attentive and have better systems in place to make sure that you're doing the 36 touch, to make sure that you're staying in front of them, you're doing blog posts, you're bringing value, and you are the authority in your market. And you can do that, like OK said, with blog post, with biweekly or weekly touches to your database via emails. But what people are missing is picking up the phone and calling. And many agents need to realize this. You're either going to pick up the phone and call, or you're going to pay a big fee for phone to ring to pick up the phone and talk to someone. You choose. The gap is in between those two things. It's one decision, and it's picking up the phone, being proactive, and calling your database. That's it. What do we got next? What's the next one? Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that's good. If you don't have a Google business profile driving your inbound leads right now, you are already behind. Anybody killing Google on this call that wants to talk about this? Somebody is.
I'm a big proponent of Google reviews. Yeah, my goal is to get over 50. I think now I'm at 56 or 57. And, you get that report every month and people do check it out. I think they cross-reference you. So they find you on one platform, like they find me on YouTube, and I guarantee you they jump over and Google my name. And, it took me a few years, but, at least I come up with my 50 plus reviews. So I think it's definitely helps indirectly. Yeah.
So
Anybody recycling blog posts into their Google page through like the content component of Google? We've been doing that for a while because that was SEO optimization. Anybody else doing that and seeing a difference? We've definitely seen
I'm doing it,
traffic.
but I've just started.
Yeah.
As far as a Google business profile, I had one when I was in Oklahoma, and I moved to North Carolina, changed my address in there, and dadgummit, if someone knows how to get beyond and talk to Google, they think I'm a fake person and I'm posting misleading content. I have been trying for the better part of a year to get my Google business profile going in North Carolina, and I am so stuck. They say that I am up for a review. They won't give me a click to give all the information. Oh my gosh, I've read so many blogs and been in so many rabbit holes. Wow, if anybody has experience or insight, I would love to talk with you. And yeah, let me buy you a coffee, a glass of wine.
Hey, throw it
The
in fast
struggles.
forward, throw it in fast forward movement too, because I know we've had some master classes on it, and some of those folks may have some insights. And then if that doesn't work, I have an agent on my team whose sister does some of that stuff and may have a contact. So I'll also, Jim, you know his sister does that. I'll see if she knows anything.
Okay.
No
Okay.
problem.
Thanks for the tips. Yeah, I need help.
Okay,
All right.
guys, it's 9 a.m. Let's do one more hot take and let's see if we can't get some new people to speak up.
All right, I like this one. Most real estate agents are one slow quarter away from financial crisis, and the industry is actively avoid talking about it. I mean, you don't have to tell us that you're in this quarter right now, but you could be hypothetical.
No, but this is true.
Yes.
It's true. And it's a lot of it's because I have been a team lead before and I've seen people that have walked away because they just financially just can't do it. So, and I've been doing it 23 years and I can tell you it's true. I mean, I've even, the last 6 years it's been up and down. But yeah, it's true. I mean, on my point, my take is it's true.
Can you go a level deeper into your thoughts about why?
Well, yeah, I can go level. So for me, like I said, I've been doing it 27 years. So I've been through a lot of ups and downs and I've been through a lot of market changes through the recession and all that. So I've seen agents come in and make a killing and then in the next quarter can't pull together a deal or whatever because they either A, didn't make their, phone calls and keep their systems in place, or B, they got in like at COVID during a very hot market where all you had to do was breathe and someone would call you because they couldn't get an agent. So there is that. And if you are running a business, or if you are a team lead or whatever, you have to always stay on top of your P&L. You always have to stay that because like this sentence says, you can move into the next quarter when you've only had maybe one or two sales the prior quarter, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the bills coming and you're like, oh my goodness, I am going to have to really, pull it together. So I've been there in every aspect, actually. So yeah, this is a very true statement. And I think if you want to go one step deeper, it goes back to, and I'll be honest, some people aren't made for this business. I mean, you've got to have grit, number one. And the other thing is they've got to do, there's 100% of what you should be doing. I really feel like you have got to do at least 20 to 40% good. I mean, you can kind of let some of the other things go, but your systems, you got to do good. So, is
I
that what
think
you wanted, Allison?
I think too, like let's go to the second half of the sentence, which is and the industry actively avoids
Oh, yeah.
talking about it. And I want to tell you where I think that shows up. Because the industry is preyed upon by folks that understand that there's a lot of revenue that comes out of the world of real estate, not just transactions. And real estate agents from the very beginning are primed to pay to be in business. And it is like nothing. I mean, it's just there, like everywhere. Like, get this, buy this, pay for this. If you do this and you sign up for our coaching, we'll get you this. And agents don't have that discernment. And then I think the reason that the industry is actually avoiding talking about it is because there's a lot of money made off of agents buying things to try to fast track the business. And I think that like that's one of the things I always guard agents around is like be very careful. Like it costs you twice to go and just try something and spend something and to get somewhere faster because almost always it does not work, so I think that's the component here too to really focus on. Alyssa said shiny object syndrome. That's exactly right. Like
Amber
and
Harbor
our
Riot.
industry is making a lot of money off of us being those people. And so I think you have to be extra guarded, guys, on this stuff.
Amber
Well,
Hardwick just did a post about this that was so intentional, saying that she worked 10 to 12-hour days her first few years in this industry and really used a lot of grit of building the foundations and working through her systems and building her system, and did not focus on the shiny objects. And I've been doing this 11 years, and I've watched people come and go and come and go. And the people that focus on the shiny objects are the ones that always say, well, what about this? Well, what about that? The most impressive businesses that are built, I'm going to like shout out Sue LaFavi here. Her expenses are very small. She runs an extremely profitable business off of very small lead sources, one of them being YouTube. If you have not watched her YouTube training class, we will find it and repost it in here, but it's on our YouTube. And it is not a shiny object business. It is absolutely not. She treats her clients well. She is one of those, from question number 2, that independent agent will not die. She will not die. But she left a small independent brokerage and came to a large brokerage that supports her growth, but she doesn't spend a lot of money. And so a lot of people are one bad quarter away from this because they're not putting their head down and doing the work that's needed and pushing through hard seasons. They're paying and spending money to try to get that shiny object. Like OK was talking about, they're buying Zillow leads, they're buying Realtor.com leads, and there is no understanding of a P&L. How much money is going out and how much money is coming in? I think we have a crisis here with agents being bloated. Like, oh, I sold 15 houses this month and I made all this money, but how much did you spend?
Right.
We have to be entrepreneurs and business owners. And what happens here is that the second you have a good quarter, you see them go out and buy a Land Rover. And then the next quarter, they're selling, product that is not real estate because they need that shiny thing. They need that dopamine hit. They need the money because they're not doing a slow roll, slow growth, slow and steady wins the race, building a really strong foundation.
Well, to Anna's point about the industry actively avoids talking about this, is that in the years I've been doing this, it's basic. I mean, you always go back to the basics, and the industry doesn't talk about it because, like you said, there's all these shiny objects that they want to sell us. And honestly, if we would just put our heads down, and just, do the work. Now, I'm in it 23 years, and but we go back to the Zillow. I started my business in Zillow back in the day, and I created a big sphere from that and stuff. When the phones rang in, I wouldn't touch it today. I wouldn't touch any of those paid leads today. I don't at all because I worked my sphere. But I think it just depends on where you are in the business too. I mean, where you are, yeah, in it.
Yeah, very good points. Thank you for speaking and collaborating. We appreciate that. Anybody else?
I'll say this, guys, and we have I'm sure we have a recording from I think Derry did Profit First one time on this topic. Alice and I are both very passionate about this, and I talk about it now too. It's just so easy to bloat, and it's so easy to use vanity metrics. Kyle Whistle talked about this in Charleston, and it was so important. And it goes back to we measure a lot of things with vanity numbers in this industry. How much volume closed, how many units, whatever. You need to be understanding truly what is the most important number that you should be looking at. And it's not, most of us are not highly money. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone on this call is I got into real estate so I can make a buttload of money. None of us are in that boat. Alice and I just got off a call with an ancillary partner. And we're we just don't care that much about what is the bottom line on the money. We want opportunity. But the very first number on my CSU is our agent portion of the GCI, because I want to know, are we hitting that metric? Because we could have volume out the wazoo, but if we're not at the end of the day able to change our position because we don't understand what's going out and what's actually coming in to us directly, it's a problem. There's an app you can get on your phone for free called Fudge It. And it's really easy. I do it every week when commission checks come in. I run up the balance on the left side, and then now Claude goes in and it will actually put all the expenses and categorize even at a higher level than what my bookkeeper's doing. I used to tell all agents, get a bookkeeper, just spend the money. You don't even have to do that anymore, guys. Just set it up in Claude. And let your books be running. Get a running tally every single morning of where did the money go the day before. It is the hardest thing to get onto, but it will fundamentally change your financial position in 30 days. I promise. 30 days, you'll be in a different spot. You just got to pay in and pay attention and stop clicking on the Instagram ads that tell you that they have leads for you.
Okay, we are at 9:09, and I do have a request. Who feels like they have got a topic that they would like to speak on. This is a very informal thing. I heard some great people speak up. We had OK, we had Amy, we had Sue LaFavi. People are running businesses and they are doing things that everybody's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? So we would love for you to please reach out to us if you'd be willing to do 30 minutes to bring information to this group. It is an open forum and we are all ears and we'd love to learn from you. So I'm going to give one more shameless request and plug to all of you people.
When do you need it? What day do you need it? Because I'll be going on vacation end of June, but I'd be happy to do a sphere calls, Ford calls.
Perfect.
Oh, that would be great.
Amy, thank you. We will email you. And I am looking at my lovely OK who has so many nuggets on blogs to drop, and we're going to email you as well.
I know, but I'm going to be gone. And did you say end of June and July?
That's okay. We'll email you. I don't want to take everybody's time up with it. We'll email you and get it on the calendar. And we appreciate everybody. If you guys also have a speaker that you love and think of, let us know and we will reach out to them and we will beg them shamelessly to please speak on Empower. So thank you guys. Go make it a great day. Amy, thank you. We will email you. OK, don't you worry. We are going to email you too. And we will see you guys next Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.